Get in the huddle with Colorado Mesa football coach Miles Kochevar on the team.
Mavericks play their home opener this Saturday against Central Washington. With us right now, the coach of the Maverick football team, Miles Kochevar. Miles, appreciate the time as always. How are you?
Doing well. Morning, fellas.
Home game Saturday, game week. You got to love it. And your team off to the 1-0 start after the win at Texas A&M Kingsville, 16-13. So with the bye week, what was the focus for your football team as you get ready for the Wildcats to come in on Saturday?
I think just overall we got to continue it like early in the season, keeping our focus on us, what we control, and that's playing great team football, great fundamental football. So that's really been the focus, to keep these guys on track. It's been tough as you go, having to bye this early. You look at this thing, it's going to be 17 days by the time we play on Saturday since we were on the field. So you don't want to lose that momentum. You got to make sure that you learn from that game one experience. And then we're able to move forward and put that into action against Central Washington coming up Saturday.
Leslie Richardson, your quarterback, got hurt in the third quarter of the win against the Javelinas. What does it look like for Leslie this week taking on Central Washington?
Leslie's been right back. That was a combination of a strain in the calf and some cramping that happened down there. So Leslie's been back. He's been 100%. We've re-amped up that competition at quarterback, and those guys are getting after it. So he'll be ready to go, and we expect big things from him Saturday.
Now they've had a chance to watch the film even more, but because of the bye week, what are some things that maybe you really, really liked from what you saw in that win against Kingsville that maybe didn't stand out to you, Miles, or you or anybody in the coaching staff the first time around?
I think the biggest thing that was just evident as you went through that is there was never a point in that game where the guys wavered. They always believed that they were going to win, and you could sense it on the field, but you can see it in the film. These guys kept fighting, and there was the little things, and just being able to continue to stay the course, have that faith in the process as it went throughout the game, and then being able to pay off on an opportunity when it came. So proud of that, and I told Coach Linscomb, our strength and conditioning coach, we were in better shape. They might have passed the eye test a little bit better at some positions than us, but our guys were in better shape, and it showed, in that first game.
You take on Central Washington, another Lone Star Conference team, which is just still odd to say Central Washington's in the Lone Star Conference, but they've been there a couple of years, and they had a really good year last year. They went 9-4. They went 7-1 in the Lone Star, and they ended up losing Colorado School of Mines in the regional finale. So this is a Central Washington team that comes in off a tremendous playoff year last year with that loss to the national championship runner-up Mines.
Yeah, and they did a great job. They came together. They kind of had a slow start last year, and then really strung together some good football, and was playing Mines tough all the way up to the second half there in that game in the playoffs. So, I'm pretty familiar with Central. My time at Humboldt and being out there on the West Coast, had the opportunity to go against them, and they haven't changed a lot. New staff, but the identity of who they've been over the years, they're a team that wants to play physical football. They want to play great defense. They want to be able to run the ball, and they're not going to beat themselves. And Coach does a great job of getting these guys ready to go. And they go out week one, and now they're on to week two, and that's where you see those gains. So we're kind of both at the same spot. We got to hope that we used our extra time to our benefit, because I know they'll be much improved from game one to game two, and we've got a great test Saturday.
And they're coming off a loss to the team that you upset last year with the now famous Cooper Mumford touchdown catch that went viral. They lost to the University of San Diego FCS program 26-7 on Saturday. What's some of the things in watching the film of that game, Miles, that are takeaways from the Wildcats and that game against University of San Diego?
Yeah, they had some opportunities there. I think they were up 7-6, and I had an opportunity to kind of create some momentum and let that pass by. So, they'll be trying to take advantage of it. But very similar in their plan and what they did as what they were last year. So, they've got two preseason players of the year in their quarterback, Kennedy McGill, and then also in the safety, Tanner Volk. So they've got some great experienced guys that they rely on, and those guys do a great job of making plays. So we're going to have to be able to stop Kennedy. You know, he's a dual threat guy, and if we let him get started running the ball, we'll be in for a long day. So we've got to know where he's at. We've got to be able to contain him. We've got to be able to keep him in the pocket and force him to go where he doesn't want to.
And rushing the football, he had a really good game last week, 122 yards on the ground. He was 13 to 27 through the air for 92 yards and a pick. So you're right, he's a dynamic playmaker, particularly in the quarterback run game. And then Tyler Flanagan, top rusher from last year, he had a touchdown for them in that game, excuse me. So they have their quarterback returning, Tyler Flanagan, top running back returning. So it's a nice little 1-2 punch that the Wildcats have on the offensive side.
Yeah, and they're pretty veteran-led. You know, up front with the O-line, they return a lot of those guys as well. And then guys that played a lot of football on the outside. So they're a veteran group, an experienced group, so I expect them to be just right where they left off last year. And, you know, we're excited for the challenge.
Miles Kochevar, coach of the CMU football team with us. Miles, when you watch the film of their defense, what are some of the takeaways there when you watch the Wildcats on film?
They do a good job, you know, creating some confusion. They run a 4-man front, so twist and gap exchanging with those 4, and then they run a 4-2-5 defense, and they're able to utilize Volk and his skill set. You know, a guy I believe had 14, 15 picks last year. The ball, he seems to be a ball magnet, so they do a good job of putting him in position. They've changed it up a little bit with him this year to where he was more of that rover, monster, roll down safety. Put him in the 1 high against San Diego. So, you know, I'll be anxious to see where they put him and how they utilize him against us. But definitely a guy that can make a lot of plays. They got a transfer in from Adams State, a safety that is also very versatile in what he does. And they rely on those guys to be able to come and feel and show up in the run game. So we're going to have to know where they're at. We got to put hats on guys, and, you know, we've got to play a physical style of football to be able to be successful come Saturday.
Yeah, Volk had 13 interceptions last year to lead their defense. So a guy that's no doubt a ball hawk in that secondary for Central Washington.